All right, let's talk about something that's totally changed the game for one of the oldest industries out there, banking. I mean, we're surrounded by FinTech, right? Financial technology. But here's the big question. Does all that shiny new tech actually make the banks themselves any better? Let's dig in.
I mean, just think about it for a second. You can pop open your phone and deposit a check, get investment advice from a robo-advisor, send money to a friend in a snap. And the assumption, is that all this tech has to be amazing for the banks that are offering it. But is it really that simple? Is just having more tech the magic bullet for success?
Well, to get a real answer, we're going to look at the source material for today's breakdown, a really interesting new study out of the Middle East. Researchers actually went out and surveyed a bunch of banking professionals to cut through all the hype and figure out what's really going on. Okay, so before we jump into what they found, we've got to get on the same page about the three big ideas they were looking at. Think of them as the key players in our story. So, first up, we've got FinTech adoption. Pretty straightforward, right? This is just a bank actually using all that new tech. We're talking mobile apps, AI, big data, the whole shebang, and weaving it into how they do business. Our second key player is banking performance. And really, this is what it's all about, isn't it? This is the bottom line, a bank's overall health, measured by real stuff like, are they profitable? Are they efficient? How good are they at managing risk?
And then we have our third, and honestly, most important player in this whole thing, competitiveness. Now, this one's a little trickier. It's not just about profits. It's about a bank's ability to stay ahead of the curve, to innovate, be super efficient, and handle risks better than the other guys. It's about winning.
Okay, now this table might look a little intimidating, but the idea behind it is super simple. The researchers had to prove that they weren't just measuring the same concept three different ways, and this shows that, yep, FinTech adoption, competitiveness, and performance are all their own separate things. Why does that matter? It means the results we're about to see are legit, not just some statistical accident. It gives us a really solid base to build on.
All right, now that we know who our players are, let's start putting the pieces together. What were the first clues the study turned up?
So right away, the data showed two really clear connections. And at first glance, you might think, okay, this seems pretty simple.
And here they are. The study found a super clear link. When banks brought in more FinTech, they became more competitive. Makes sense. And then when they became more competitive, their performance, their bottom line, got better. Simple, right? Two nice, clean connections. So that's it then. A simple chain reaction. Tech leads to competitiveness, which leads to success. Easy peasy, case closed. Or is it? What if that's not the whole story? What if there's something more interesting going on underneath? And this, right here, is where things get really interesting. This is the big reveal. Let's talk about the secret ingredient, how FinTech actually makes a bank perform better. Because what the researchers figured out is that FinTech doesn't just directly boost performance. That's not its main superpower. Instead, its biggest benefits get funneled through a very specific channel. It's an indirect effect. And trust me, that changes everything. So here it is, the true path. And I love this analogy. Think of FinTech as a super powerful engine. And performance? Well, that's the car's speed. But a big engine is useless if you can't get that power to the wheels, right? You need a transmission. And that's exactly what competitiveness is here. It's the transmission. It's the critical piece that takes all the power from FinTech and turns it into actual real-world performance. And the authors of the study really just nailed it when they said this. Basically, the banks that use FinTech to get an edge on their rivals, those are the ones that actually turn that tech investment into better performance. See, it's not about just having the shiny new toy. It's about how you use it to win.
Okay, so what does this all mean for banks in the real world? And, for us. Let's break down what the real strategy should be.
And let's be clear, the stakes here are crazy high. I mean, the study points out that a whopping 88% of traditional financial firms think FinTech could seriously disrupt their entire business. So getting this strategy right, yeah, it's not just a nice to have, it's about survival. And that really brings us to the main takeaway here. It's not about the tech, it's about the strategy. Just going out and buying the fanciest FinTech on the market, that's not going to cut it. The real goal is to use that tech to outsmart and outperform your competitors. Maybe that means using AI to give people loan decisions in minutes, not days. Or maybe it's building a mobile app that's so incredibly easy to use that your customers wouldn't dream of going anywhere else. Because without that competitive game plan, all that FinTech, it's just a really, really expensive hobby.
So it all boils down to this one crucial question. It's a question for every bank executive and really for any of us who are curious about where our money is. When you look at a bank's technology, is it just a gimmick? Is it just a feature to check off a list? Or is it the very core of how they plan to win? Because the answer to that question, that changes everything.